The recent Supreme Court decisions involving Obamacare and the Arizona immigration law have only further alienated a majority of Americans from the D.C. establishment. So says former New York congressman and conservative pundit John LeBoutelier, who joins us on the Morning Update. John, in your blog Boots Blasts, you say pessimism has replaced the normal optimism for most Americans. Why do you think that's so?
Well, I mean, number one, the polling shows it to be so. When you ask people, they're really pessimistic about the institutions of the country, the future of the country. They don't have any faith in either party. And, you know, the one institution that sort of hung out there as above all this had been the Supreme Court. And then I think this ruling on, not the immigration one, but the health care ruling, I just think blew people's doors in. I really do. They didn't expect it. They didn't expect the Republican Chief Justice to go the way he did. And I think there's a palpable sense of even more despair after that ruling.
In addition, you say that Republicans and Democrats are talking at each other and past most people, and that's souring Americans.
Absolutely. I don't hear one candidate in either party, Scott, who ever looks at the American people and talks to them straight about what a mess we're in and how we're going to fix it. And can we please get off this blasting of the other guys all the time? It's good up to a point, but it's overkill now. We're doing too much negative stuff, not enough talking about here's why I'd like the job, here's what I'll do with it.
You have said that if either Mitt Romney or Barack Obama talked to the nation in that mature presidential manner and offered a realistic path to recovery, that candidate would win the election. Why hasn't either candidate tried that approach?
One of the reasons is they're surrounded by these handlers that they pay a lot of money to run their campaigns, and the handlers aren't presidential. They're experts at digging into the dirty aspects of politics, and they're talking into these candidates' ears day and night. You got to attack the guy on this, you got to attack the guy on that. And there's no one else arguing what I'm talking about inside the senior staff level who's got access to Romney or the president, who can walk in and say, you know, you got to change this. You got to rise above this negative stuff. You can still do some negative campaigning, but we don't have to do all of it. Let us go and talk of a positive agenda that you can run on, that if you win, you will enact. That's the other thing. What are these people going to do in a second term? Neither one of them has told us what they're going to do.
You say Obama would actually benefit from admitting his failings thus far.
I think so. I really do. I think if he were to come out and frankly say, you know, I made some mistakes in my first term. I pushed too hard, too fast on this health care. I think we went a little bit far. In my second term, I'd like to adjust it and fix it, working with the Republicans to do so. And I've learned that you can't force change. You know, the way the song used to go, you can't hurry love. Well, you can't really hurry a lot of change. You can do some change, but you can't do all of it real fast. I've learned that. In a second term, I will be a wiser, smarter president.
And you say,
now, he'll never do it, Scott. He'll never do it. But if he did, I think a lot of independent voters would really like that. So,
and you say that Romney should tell the truth and admit both parties are to blame for the mess we're in today.
I think he'd score huge points with independents if he came out and he said, "Look, I'm not into the blame game. Everybody wants to blame the other party. Let's face facts. Both parties, George W. Bush's Republicans and Barack Obama's Democrats, each went a little bit too far, spent too much money, ran up the debt, went too far out of the mainstream, and what we've got to do is get it back into the mainstream. That's what I'm going to do." If he said that, he would score huge points with a third of the country who now register as independents, who don't want to be Republican or Democrat. They're sitting there going back and forth from Obama to the Republicans, unsure of who to vote for. If Romney sounded a little bit like them on a few things, they'd say, I'm going to vote for him.
Former New York Congressman John LeBoutelier, thank you for being with us today in Portland.
Hey, Scott, thank you.